All right, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm recording. Oh, and
Hi, Sarah and Jess.
hi. We just
Let's
had a
pretend like
little
we're gonna pretend like we didn't already say hi to you once and
had
just
some
jump right in.
technical difficulties.
Welcome to our ovaries. That was
wild
weird.
ovaries.
Say hi, guys. How are you? Where are you?
Right now, we are just outside of Philadelphia on the New Jersey side.
Yes, we're at my parents' house. It's the house that I grew up in. We're here for the holidays.
Very nice. So you'll be there a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Sarah's actually like remodeling some of our home, our van. So we needed some power tools and
yes,
internet.
Yeah, and
Yes.
if you don't know,
lesbians,
Sarah and Jeff, they have a YouTube channel. What's the name of your YouTube channel? And they live in their van. And you say it better. Wait, actually, let's do
explain.
Do you want Sarah to do her voice? She can do her YouTube intro voice.
Yes. Do you have
please.
one? What is up, guys? That's my son's intro for his YouTube channel. What is up, guys? That's how he does
Your
it.
son has a channel?
Yeah. It's like he has 44 followers. It's horrible. It's amazing. It's all Minecraft.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's do your elevator pitch. Are you ready?
In your YouTube voice.
Okay.
In the YouTube voice?
Okay.
Just
Only
see,
if you're
here's what happened. Earlier I was practicing in my YouTube voice and just said, "That's your YouTube voice. Stop doing that." But now see, look, they want my YouTube voice.
Go ahead.
I do. Okay, you got 30 seconds.
You do you. You do you.
All right. On your mark, get set, go.
Hi, we're Sarah and Jess. We've been together for 7.5 years. In that time, we've been halfway across the world. We've worked hard to achieve financial goals, quit our jobs, sold 95% of our belongings to go hike for 3 months before buying and converting the Sprinter van that we now live in. We started our own business, we've gotten engaged, we've brought home a golden retriever puppy, and we would have been married a few months ago, except for COVID. Now we're starting to look into the process of adding kids to our family.
Bam! 31 seconds on the nose.
Practice, young lady. You get it.
Wow. Just for the record, I've been calling it your Swiffer van for the last 10 minutes.
I was wondering why you were calling it a Swiffer. I had no
I just ignored it. I didn't know.
I know, like we're like your old, like those old relatives that are just like too close to the Zoom.
I mean, you should know. I mean, you should know what a Sprinter van is. No, not that I would have known that.
Why should I know that, Jamie? Why should I know that?
Here's what I think. I think you guys are living the dream. I'm jealous.
Yeah, is that what everyone thinks?
Don't.
So.
Jamie and I are gonna like resist the urge to tell you not to ruin it and have children.
You're living the dream.
But the grass is always greener.
I guess so. Well, come spend 24 hours in one of our houses, and then I don't know if you're gonna think the grass is green.
During the technical difficulties, I was telling them about screaming at my daughter over the break, so I think I've talked them out of children. I do think that has happened.
But I want to say that it's so funny that during tragedy, this is when you do things like this, because first of all, I just had the thought last night before I went to bed, oh my God, COVID might be ending soon. And we didn't even go on a road trip. We didn't take advantage of this.
Did you even live through a pandemic?
Yeah. Also, like, what are you going to do? Like pee in bags? Like, where are you going on a road trip? Like,
I know that. And then I thought there's nowhere really to stop. Like, where are we going to do? And also, I'm not going on a road trip with a 3-year-old. What am I?
You're crazy. You would just drive by. There's Dollywood. It's closed. We can't go in, but that's where it is. Like,
no, but also after 9/11, my then girlfriend and I drove cross country too. It's like tragedy does things like this to us, huh?
Well,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, like what got you guys like this? That was a big thing. Like selling 95% of your possessions. That just Tuesday night, you were like, you want to sell all our things and get in a Swiffer van? I'm going to keep calling it a Swiffer van.
Yeah, you can call it that. I like that.
Call it whatever you want. It started differently. So it started as me having a dream for like 5 or 6 years of hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. So that is, for anyone who's not familiar, it goes from the border of California and Mexico to the border of Washington and Canada. It's 2,652 miles long, and it's what the movie Wild is about. Good old Reese, just crushing it out there. So That was a dream that I had for like 5 or 6 years, and I was working in
With
a.
no past hiking experience.
Oh,
by the way.
no, oh,
Sarah
no.
That's what I
read
was
this
gonna
book
say, were
and
you
she
Oh,
was
gonna
like,
have
no.
it?
holy shit, I can do this. I'm just
I
gonna
was
go
like,
buy
if
some
she can
stuff
do it,
and
I
go
can do it.
Walk
Like,
3,000
come
miles.
on.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the
Wow.
book Into the Wild, and I was like, that book didn't end well. You know?
No.
No.
Yeah, I was like, that inspired you to go live off the grid because
I
he
want to
died.
do this. I'm really jealous.
So-
I really want to do this.
It was really good.
So
we got out there.
So we basically made a plan for ourselves. I was working in this corporate job, which was like soul sucking. And I was like, this is not the life that I want to be living. And so we worked really hard for a couple of years and saved as much money as we could. And we were like, we're doing it. So we quit our jobs and we sold like 95% of our stuff, kept the rest of our stuff here at my parents' house, and we left. We had spent one previous night backpacking in our lives together, and we just went out there and we ended up hiking 900 miles. We hiked for 3 months, and that was what we did.
You did it? That's
Now-
amazing.
Now, explain to me the research you did to get yourselves ready to do this long
Right.
trip.
Yeah, did you come off the
how-
trails? Where did you sleep?
Your one practice backpacking.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one practice backpacking night went terribly. It was supposed to be a 3-night trip, and we gave up after one.
Oh, it was
that
so
a
bad.
really
And you
good
still
sign.
went.
Yeah, we still went. We were committed.
Wow.
I've listened to most of your podcast and the audiobook from your new book release, by the way.
Why,
Loved that.
Thank you.
And I love when you mentioned spreadsheet people and lesbian relationships, because that is this person right
Aw.
here. Like,
Team
we woke
spreadsheet.
up this
high
morning
five.
and Sarah, we woke up this morning and Sarah was like, we have the podcast today. And I was like, oh, that's today. Like, okay, like, let me wash my hair. And meanwhile, Sarah has spreadsheets. So to plan this trip.
Can I show you the text from Robin this morning? Can you see that? You can't even see it.
I can't even see it.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, to remind me what our
Yeah.
morning is. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Get
so okay. That's our
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah. So
Listen.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of spreadsheets about the hike and just like dove in for years. I was like, this is the dream. This is like everything.
Yeah.
And so I really, really obsessed over planning and learning and researching and watching hundreds of hours of YouTube videos of people that vlogged every single day of their PCT hike and everything. So like just trying to learn as much as I could about it. And then we went out there and we did it for 3 months. We did about a little bit more than a third of the trail.
That's incredible.
And
That's great.
yeah, it was good. And so what happened at the end of the trail is that we kept getting sucked into Bend, Oregon, which is the most wonderful place and full of people living in their sprinter vans. And so we would go to Bend. What we would do is we would hike for like a day, and then we would like get a ride to Bend, and then we would go back out and we would hike for like a couple days, and then we'd get a ride to Bend and spend another
So
like
cool.
3 or 4 days there.
It was
And
during the women's.
it was
soccer
during the
games.
Women's World Cup. It was
Yeah.
it was like 4th
Oh.
of July. We were just like having too great of a time in Bend to be hiking. And each
So
time
you'd
we
go
went
back,
back,
you'd have some drinks with people.
yes,
And would you be like in a hotel or something when you were in
Yeah.
Bend?
While we were there.
Yeah.
And then you go back out, you'd be like, okay, let's just get 3 more days under our belt.
Yes.
It's
And
Like,
then
you want to go back to Bend?
yes,
Right?
What a
it's
We
exactly
would run into somebody else like, we're going to Bend, and be like, oh, like I guess we'll just hitch a ride. with you
Just
guys.
go.
Yeah.
That's
Also
cool.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we were there, we met people living in sprinter vans, and it was kind of in the back burner of our minds. Our initial plan was to hike for 6 months and then travel internationally for 6 months. We were going to take like a year off, but instead we decided to hike for 3 months and then buy a sprinter van and convert it and live in it. So that's
Wow.
what we did, and
Must be
here we are
dream.
now.
And
Yeah,
how long ago was this?
Yeah, so we bought the van July
2019.
of 2019. We converted it with friends until we finished January of 2020. We left in
Wow.
January.
Right?
I mean, that's not
And-
funny, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Right as a pandemic is hitting.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
David.
we had like 3 months pre-pandemic in the van, which were great. And then we came back here to my parents' house for spring to ride out the pandemic, and then just started taking little day trips and like weekend trips again in the van as things started to open. And then in the fall, we went out again, and then we just came back here for the holidays.
Wow. So yeah, I want to hear about life, and I want to hear how you did you hear my toilet just flush?
No.
Did you guys hear that?
No,
No.
My wife, I have to say, my wife is so loud.
she's a
when
very
she's in
loud
her
conference
Zoom
call
meeting.
talk
She's so
voice.
Anyway, I want to hear about like fixing up the van and what you had to do. Like you get just a van, right?
Yeah, it was
then you-
empty.
And then you'd like soup it up with a bed and what do you?
Oh,
have,
they've
like,
got 2 lofts, Jamie. The thing is insanity on stilts.
haven't
Yeah, we'll have to
seen
show
it.
you.
It's amazing.
oh my god!
It's like a house.
It's
I
like an
love
RV. It's an
Yeah.
RV, but
Yeah.
You
it's
did it
just in a van.
yourselves?
No.
We did it with 2 of our friends who flip houses, and they are very great.
Yeah.
And I helped a little bit.
I think Josh did most of the work. I would
Yeah.
90%.
Yeah, I did like all of the research and like planning,
Yeah.
and then he was like, "This is actually possible. This is not possible."
He's
Here's
like a
what
pool.
I know.
You cannot have a pool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like a group effort in that regard. And then now I've been doing a lot of renovations. We're doing a whole new electrical system and putting in a heater and an air conditioner and like
And
adding
Sarah's
some
been doing
things.
all of
And
that
I've done all
herself.
of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's very impressive.
So you're gonna go back out on the road after the holidays?
Yes.
Ooh. And do you know where you're going? And do you stay in places like for long periods of time, or are you like one night here, one night there?
The best part is you can just decide on the fly. So we have a general goal that we want to go back to Southern California, but maybe we'll stop in New Mexico for a few weeks. Maybe we'll go to Colorado again. Like, I don't know. It just depends how we're feeling, how the weather is.
Get back
Yeah.
to Bend.
Get back to Bend.
Go back
Bend
to
is
bed.
always
Yeah.
there.
As a
But
mom, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say our like main goal with the van, to answer your question of like how long do we stay in places, has been to try and find somewhere that we want to live. So I mean, road tripping is exhausting. Like
Yeah.
Jamie, you're saying, like you can't imagine going on a road trip. Like it is tiring just driving all the time. And so that's not really what we do with the van. Like we'll go from like point A to point B, but then once we get there, so right now we're thinking about going to Southern California in January. So once we get there, as long as everything with COVID, I mean, we'll see what happens. But if we can go there, then we'll stay there for at least a month, 2 months, something like that.
get the
just
feel of
to,
it.
yeah. So that's what we've been doing.
Where do you park? Is it hard to find places to park the van? Because it's big, right?
It is big, but it's just like a big white van. It's kind of like one of the package delivery vans. And so we just park on the street most of the time.
Do you think you could do that like in New York City with that too? If you could find
I
a
wouldn't
spot
do
big
it
enough?
in the city if we could find a spot, but in like
my brother
residential
has
areas.
a trailer right now. He can't park it anywhere. He can't find a place.
There's across the
Oh.
street from my house, there's like this
you
park.
guys need to come to Robin.
Yeah. By the way, you go park right across the street from my house. And then we'll wave at you. But there's like
We'll
there's
be
this
neighbors.
RV that's there all the time. And if they think it lives there because there's no houses, it's along a park, and then the other side is the museum. And so there's all these open spaces.
Yeah,
That's
what we look for.
Yeah.
That's a prime spot. That's a prime spot. Yeah.
So if you want to come to Brooklyn, I can tell you where to park.
Perfect. We'll hit you up.
There's really rarely any spots in front of my place in Manhattan though. So don't come here. Don't come here.
Okay. So all right. You're in your Swiffer, you're figuring things out there. Before I ask the second question, I have to ask, as a mom, what do your parents think about all this?
They love it, right?
Very supportive.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, they thought it was funny at the beginning, but I think a couple of months ago now, your dad came to us and was like, I read in my magazine that that you girls are social influencers, and now I understand the concept of what you're doing, and I can tell my friends at the Rotary Club or wherever he goes that you guys are influencers, not just that you're living in your car. And I was like, there you go.
They're
There
not
you
just like vagabonds living in a car. They're making money. So is that the business you're talking about that you started is basically the social influencing business, or did you start another business in the van too, just to make life fun?
Just one.
Just
the
one. So
influencing.
Jess is a professional photographer, and she has her own business that you started years ago, and you've been doing that for years now. And you do that when we come back to the Philly area. You like reconnect with your clients and work there. And so that's your business. And then we have our business, which is like Uphill Adventure, and it's just YouTube and Instagram.
Just
Amazing.
videos of ladies on the road doing the thing. It's
Doing
so
the
cool.
thing, yeah.
And
there's
so
not a lot of
obviously
representation.
you're in a van, you got a dog, you're living the dream, and then all of a sudden you're like, we should have a baby.
Oh my
Walk us
gosh.
through that a little bit.
So Sarah's like the scheduler, the spreadsheet person, but I have always operated on these long-term goals. So like I made a goal to go to college. I made a goal to pay off my student debt like in a certain amount of time, did that. Like I wanted to be engaged by a certain time, did that. And I wanted to have kids when I was 30. And we were supposed to get married a few months ago. And then the idea was that we were going to start the process of having kids because we know that it can take a while. There are some things that we need to do. And I want to start that process now. I want to still have kids when I'm 30.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I know, but maybe it won't happen when I'm 30, but like 31 or 2.
I mean, I
It
think
could,
that's a
it
good
could happen.
age.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It could happen like that. It could happen so fast, or it could.
But then
take
it can
a while.
also
There's
take a
no-
long time. Yeah, you don't know.
Right.
you
But
just
you have to
don't
plan
know.
for it.
True.
What are you doing
No.
to plan for it?
Coming on this podcast,
No,
talk to you wonderful
Honestly,
women.
So you guys always talk about like the queer people that went before you that teach you everything that you need to know. We
Mhm.
don't have any of those people. Like you guys have been those people for us and it's
Oh,
been
we're
so
your people?
wonderful. Yeah, it's so
Oh, that's
nice.
We're
nice.
so
But
happy to be your
Yeah.
people.
why don't you have any people there? What's
Well,
going on?
that's a question. We need people.
We need to get you to. Well, are there any gay bars open right now? There's that.
There's nothing open right now.
Do you-
We
We're
need
just
any
like, we're
Philadelphia lesbians listening right now. Reach out.
reach out.
They're on
Uphill
YouTube.
Adventures.
You can
Uphill
find them.
Adventures.
Reach and touch
Yes.
someone. Don't touch me. That's weird. Don't
What?
touch me.
Whoa, Jamie. Whoa, no touching during COVID.
I
Jamie.
want to know, and I know you have a question too, Robin, but this is going to take it back a second, so I just want to ask this. Jess, in your long-term plans, did it include the fact that you were going to be married to a woman, or was that like a little hiccup in the plans? How did that come about?
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think neither of us were planning to be married to a woman. That was for sure. We met at university and I was dating men, and Sarah, you did have one other relationship with a woman before we met, but yeah, no.
Did not
Just
go
we
well.
both
nodding.
were
She's like, correct.
Christian household. Sarah's dad is a pastor.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, he
so
came
it is
around
that
to the social
process.
influencer thing, though, so
He got there, yeah.
He's come around to this.
Yes.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They're wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
So
definitely
that
not.
wasn't in the cards, but you guys met at university, and it was like a done deal. You found your person,
Yeah.
or
We're
something,
like, or.
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
I
mean, we've been
Sarah's
together.
awfully quiet over there.
I feel
Oh
like
my
Sarah has
God.
a lot to say that she's not saying right now.
No, I would just say it's not like we met and we were like, oh, like everything makes perfect sense and like done deal. It was
Yeah.
like, we had a difficult time, definitely, like, because neither of us, we like came out as a couple,
Mhm.
as being
Mhm.
like, this is who we're with. And we didn't have like individual like realizations and coming out experiences like outside of each other. And so like doing that as a couple, and like we lived together before we were dating, and we've always lived together, and like just a lot of different things with our relationship that were, I think we had to like get through a lot of, make sure that this was actually like what we wanted, and work through a lot of insecurities like in ourselves
Yeah, definitely.
together, and like only having each other for that. Like we still don't really have
Yeah.
queer friends or like any type of community like to confide in that regard. So it wasn't definitely like, you're my person, this is it, yay, we're together, this is going to be great. It was a long road,
Yeah.
but we're here now.
We're really happy.
It's so
Yeah.
similar to the Living Rosa ladies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like they had almost a very similar experience. And what's interesting is because I was wondering when you said you didn't have anyone who went before you, I thought they must not have a queer community. And that explains why, because you
Yeah.
just had each other and then you just
Mhm.
were doing things that were you two things.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we did, I mean, we went to a Christian college. We grew up in separate like Christian households, and just like in that world, especially like when we grew up, like that didn't exist. Those two things
Yeah.
were not, they didn't go together.
And
So
so there weren't
Wow.
there weren't other queer folks in your college even, or you found
I
them?
mean,
No, I mean,
like a handful of which we found out afterward.
yeah, but like
Hmm.
queer staff weren't allowed to work there.
No.
Like there was like, it was very, yeah, it was terrible.
Oh,
We
Oh,
gave them our
wow.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
well,
Because they
you
shamed
know,
us.
that's where you grew up. That's what you knew.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do your parents
Wow.
know you're thinking about kids, and how would that be?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, is Sarah's mom ever excited?
Oh,
Yeah, my mom's really, really, really excited.
Sarah is the youngest of 3, and we might be the only ones having kids.
Yes.
oh,
So,
really?
so
Yes.
she is ready. She is so mad at COVID for pushing us back.
Because you would be married by now.
Yeah, we were supposed to be married in October.
Oh. So
Wow.
what's happening with marriage? What are you gonna
It
do
was
about
gonna,
that?
it was gonna be a destination wedding,
Hmm.
Mm.
so it just was kind of out of the picture to make everybody travel across the country for our wedding
Yeah.
this year.
So
So we're
you're
gonna
just
get married
waiting.
next year. Yeah.
Yeah, we just pushed it back a year. We talked about alternatives or just getting married anyway or changing plans or whatever, but I mean at the end of the day we just decided. I kind of had a very clear, Jess is wonderful and kind of doesn't really care that much about like the logistics and what things look like in the day and all of that, but I'm like, I have a pretty clear idea of what I want things to look like, and so at the end of the day I would just rather wait and hopefully have that than compromise when, I mean, we've been together by then, we'll have been together for over 8 years. So I'm like, I want what I want out of this day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Want
deserve
what you
that.
want, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So where are you on the plans for the babies? Like do you know how you're going to go about it, and how far along are you into it? I said babies. I just made you guys like you're having twins now. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Jess wants twins.
I wouldn't mind having twins.
I mean, then
But-
you're done. You get them out of the way, you're done. Boom.
You know, I
Well,
said
you're
that to
never
Sarah, and she said that that wouldn't be enough for her. She said 2 would be fine unless it's twins, and then she wants to do it twice. So
I just think-
I don't know.
Well, okay.
Well-
So how do you plan on going about this? Let's just get
All
into
right.
that.
Let's
I'm
answer
just
the
gonna go to the
question.
store actually and pick them up right now.
Okay.
Totally.
You can answer.
Okay, so we want to have kids. We haven't done the first step yet. Like we made an appointment with the fertility clinic, but then we ended up canceling it because of COVID and just monies. And we realized our health insurance wasn't going to cover anything, so that was an issue. So our plan is that we are going to get proper health insurance that has fertility benefits for us.
Mhm.
We are going to
More difficult than it sounds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you find
Not
that?
easy.
Have you found that? Because I haven't found that.
Right. So the interesting thing is that we don't have like actual jobs. Is that a thing to say?
We're self-employed.
Yeah, we have
Right.
time in our
Yes.
schedule to get different jobs like part-time.
Mhm.
So I recently found out that Starbucks offers really good benefits even for part-time workers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Um,
interesting.
And
So-
have you looked into their health insurance? Does it?
Yes, and so they offer you have to work there for 3 months
Mhm.
part-time, so I think that's 20 hours a week, and then you're eligible for their insurance, which offers $25,000 in fertility treatments, I think, for each person.
And it doesn't matter
Yeah, for anybody.
gender, couple, anything.
I know.
That's
Doesn't that sound crazy?
amazing.
Wow. I didn't even know
So-
this existed, honestly. I didn't know that
Yeah.
any insurance offers this. I guess it's
Well,
up
I
to the
mean,
company.
Yeah, so I was feeling, some kind of way about it because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, stop discriminating against me, like called my insurance, called hers, and they were like, oh, I've never really thought about it. And I'm like, that's so nice for you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Such a nice privilege of yours.
so I did a lot of research and I found that Starbucks offers that, and I think also Amazon and T-Mobile offer similar packages for their workers, but I don't know the details about
Good
those
to know.
because
Good to know.
Starbucks seemed like the best option for
Yeah.
myself.
So
Jess
you're
is
gonna-
gonna work at Starbucks.
You're gonna like backdoor it. You're gonna
coffee.
get a job that offers insurance and then stay there until you get your baby.
I mean, yeah, or maybe I'll stay. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe
Yeah.
you'll get a career at Starbucks. Who knows?
I mean, there's free coffee involved, so all things are possible.
You know, they always seem happy in there. I've thought about,
They
I've
do,
actually thought
you know?
about getting a job at Starbucks before.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving people coffee in the morning. I can't be that bad.
Yeah.
The only thing
Everybody's
is
like,
they are
thank you.
early hours. You'd probably be up there at 4 a.m. or something.
That's
I
true.
don't know. I'm just
But
saying.
I'm okay. I'm
They'll
a
prepare
morning
you
person.
for parenting.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm already up at like 5 with the dog. So
Okay, so you
Yeah.
have this is just so interesting that this is something that couples like us have to navigate before we even start this process. You have found the job that is
I
going to give
know.
you the insurance that you need, and you're just going to
Yeah.
take this job so that you have
Exactly.
that insurance.
Yes.
So
It's
you-
frustrating, but it's a process that we are
It
working with.
is,
Yeah.
and look at how resilient and how we know how to what is the word I'm looking for? Like jump through hoops.
Ingenuity.
And our ingenuity here in these LGBTQ relationships. Okay,
But so that means that you want to go the science
Okay.
route then. You want to do like
You
you're
want
not doing it
biological.
at home with
Right. We probably wouldn't do it at home.
Probably not. I mean, this is where it's so tricky because there are a good amount of options, to be honest.
I almost made like a chart for you guys because I just felt so
flow chart?
overwhelmed.
A flow chart?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
like
this,
it's either
then
A,
that.
B, C, or D, and then you can choose A, B, C, and D from this option. And like
Choose your
there's
own
so many
adventure.
options.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, it's overwhelming.
Not to that extent. But yeah, it's been interesting because I mean, especially, I mean, we can get into this, but like the whole like IUI versus IVF, like do you get 5 times the amount of chances that it costs for one chance when you have a little bit better percentage than you do for the other ones? Like all of these options that I'm just like, I think until we go talk to somebody and like find a doctor that we like and trust and get tested for like fertility and figure out like how things actually look, then maybe like the path that we will take will become a little bit clearer. But I think, I mean, at this point, I would probably be a little bit more open with starting with IUI. You're kind of thinking maybe that we should start with IVF instead and just skip that. I mean, again, I don't know. We got to talk to the science.
I think for sure that the doctors will give you some guidance, but I will say in my particular scenario, my wife had the first via IVF because IUI wasn't working. And then when it was my turn, we only had 2 vials of sperm left. So the doctor recommended, I looked fine. Everything looked fine
Yeah.
in my body. So, but the doctor said, let's just go straight to IVF. You'll get pregnant with this 1 vial. We'll be done. They use 2 vials per insemination. So we'll just use this. We'll get you pregnant. Didn't work. More IVFs didn't work.
Yeah.
And in the end, 2.5 years later, I ended up getting pregnant via IUI.
Yeah, she did the reverse.
So
bizarre.
yeah, so you really don't know, but the doctors will guide you.
But they do to a certain extent, Jamie, right? But like I feel like a lot of young people, like lesbians in particular, are at this crossroads of, do I jump right to IVF? Because you're not going into a clinic with fertility issues. You're going in with financial issues, and you're trying to get that baby as quickly as possible. And that's a really hard decision.
Yeah.
I think the decisions that you can manage right now, and the ones that you can make this decision on your own are who's going to carry.
Do you know that?
Yes, I think so. I mean, it depends a little bit on the numbers, but I'm a birth photographer, so I have seen the whole process many a time. And it's not really something that I think I would necessarily need to do for myself.
Okay.
So
And
Sarah
you can take the
has,
pictures.
and I can take the pictures, and Sarah says that she probably wouldn't mind carrying as much. So neither of us are thrilled about it.
Yeah, that's where we're at. This is awful, I know, but
Not
like,
awful.
I don't want to carry. Jess does not want to carry, but Jess does not want to carry more. So this is where we're at.
So you're taking.
I feel like yes, like I would be okay doing that. And Jess is really great at taking care of me, and like those types of things is like so much more empathetic than I am. And I feel like it just kind of makes sense for our relationship. anyway.
I mean, it's a huge thing to carry a baby. Like, I have so much respect for every woman who has ever done it. It is not a selfless.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Some women thrive in it. You might actually really, really love it, Sarah. You never know.
Could be one of those
Mom will
people.
love it.
Could be. Neither Robin nor I.
We were not those people. Have you thought about doing the at-home testing, like, Modern Fertility, Mira, one of those at-home kits? Because then I feel like my only concern is like you are getting yourself, you're walking down a path where you're saying this is, I think, what we're going to do, and you haven't seen any numbers yet. So you thought about doing that so that way for sure, like, her situation is decent and yours is decent, so you can you're free to make the choice you want to make.
Right. So we hadn't heard about those until we listened to your podcast, and then we did some research on them. I think my question with it is, if we do those, like, that sounds really great, but then if we want to continue things at a doctor's office, is it just we have to redo
You just go do it again with them, and you just.
Well, at that point, it's usually, it's usually just a copay if you have insurance that covers fertility. So then you're just
but the doctors are going to put them through the same tests.
Yeah, of course they are. They're going to rerun it for sure.
Yeah.
You're absolutely.
I think those are great, really great for those who are going to do the at-home inseminations. And possibly those who just really want to know ahead of time before they go to the doctor.
I think we definitely would do that and would try the at-home if we had a known donor, but I don't know that we have anybody that we would do that with.
So that's another question. What kind of donor are we getting here? We going the sperm bank route? We going the known donor route? We going the Is there another route? What is there?
Relative. The relative route. We've had a couple of those.
We do each have brothers, but I don't think either of us are interested in doing that. So
it's stressful.
It is stressful. I have been like heading up most of the research on all of this for us, and so I found this podcast it was on Audible. It was like a true crime thing, and I made Sarah listen to it. Like, we listened to it together. I probably should have previewed it because it was terrifying. But it was about donors, and it was about like some sketchy lawsuit that is like still in the works for like this one company and this one donor that apparently was
like scammed the system basically, and
he was like marked as like this prime candidate with like all of these like degrees and like a great health record and all of these things, and then it turned out he had mental health issues and other things going on, and he had hundreds of kids.
Of kids through the bank.
Hundreds of kids. How did he have hundreds of kids?
Because he donated for like 14 years or something.
Because the big picture is that they are not regulated. That there's no fact checking. There's no, and the thing with all of these mothers and couples were like, I went online and I Googled him when I found out who his name was, and I found this information out in 30 seconds. And the sperm bank didn't do that. And so now, of course, Jess makes me listen to this podcast, and I'm like, well, what? Oh, what?
Oh, she's like, we can't trust anyone ever
again. So obviously that does not happen all of the time.
What's the name of this episode for listeners who might
donor?
It's on Audible.
Yeah, it's on Audible. Let me look it up.
A donor story
donor number.
That's scary.
But it's a real, so like, obviously it's true. Like, the lawsuits are real. You can look up the lawsuits and everything like that.
So it's on Audible. It's called Donor 9623.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very well done.
It was well done.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Would recommend. But also, don't tell your parents.
Maybe not while you're in the process of choosing a donor bank.
Exactly.
I mean, because you have to sort of relinquish control, like when Mary and I went through the process, originally we were going to do the thing where it was going to be my egg and Mary was going to carry, and I had to fill out, they then considered me like an egg donor. So I had to fill out all their paperwork and like my past history and do like psych eval and all this stuff. I was like, this is insanity. Like, this is my wife. But my point is that when I was doing the paperwork, I had this feeling like, I don't even know a lot of this family history they're asking, like, I'm sort of, and a lot of these people are gone, and I'm just kind of making it up. And like, what would stop me from just, fill it in the lines? And then Mary and I just came to the point where we were like, at some point we just have to accept, we have to accept that this is the person who's helping us, and then just like you said, let that go. But it's not easy.
Yeah. we're working through it.
They do. I mean, they say at the sperm banks that they cap, they cap the families off at like 20 families. They're all different. Each sperm bank is different. But I think
Yeah.
when both Robin and I used California Cryo, and they capped them off at, I think it's 20. Do you remember it, Robin?
I think 20 is right. Yeah.
20 families. Which
So
but
that
that
was-
could be, you don't know how many kids.
They're
are
not
in it.
usually in the program for more than a year. Like they're not in the program.
They
for very
retire
long.
you.
Yeah.
But that is really scary. They also have now we did an episode on it. There are Facebook groups that you can meet a donor that just gives you some. I was gonna say such a gross word, and I'm stopping myself. But
Are you gonna say jizz again?
I was gonna say jizz.
You're gonna say jizz again, Jamie?
I don't even know where that comes from.
Stop saying jizz. There's by the way, somebody's put on in our Facebook group a story about that Australian group. There's some guy, there's now a lawsuit because there's all these limits in Australia. And that's why they created this group, because it was like it's really hard to get a donor. Yeah. But there is a guy who has gone way over the numbers, and he had registered at multiple things, and they, and you're just like, oh.
So that's a fear of mine then. So then you have your banks and you have the great ones that are like, okay, we're capping it at 10 or 20 or whatever families, but they can't control what this donor does. Like, you can just go down the street to like a different bank then if the one bank isn't going to pay him anymore. So like, again, totally irrational, like fears of mine, but
it's not irrational.
I don't think it's irrational.
I think, and then we were trying to think about like, what is it that like upsets me about that so much, like, let's think about like it logically okay, so like, what are the implications of something like this happening? And obviously, like, you want your kid to be like healthy, and like the whole like types of genetic illnesses or things like that you don't want. You would like to avoid that if possible. But then, so say that that's all fine. I mean, what is the other thing? And I think for me, it's just like, it's just strange. I think like it's something else that isn't normal. Like, if your kid is gonna then when they grow up, like look up their donor siblings and like, oh, I have like 70 siblings or something, like that's just for me, I think, given like how we were raised and like our whole experiences in like coming out and being together and already being like different.
We're
like,
different in our community.
We are. And so then having something else, like our kids are already going to have two moms, and already like it's going to be different. And so just like wrestling with that for myself, and then being like, well, on top of it, then like my kid can grow up and have like 100 siblings, and like that's different,
right?
And so just like trying to figure that out as being like, that's kind of the root of what upsets me about it, and trying to like wrestle with that within myself and being like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen, like if this is what it has to be.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you have definitely thought this through way more than I did. I think you thought way more of the bad things that could happen than I did, which I'm not saying that's a good thing on my part. That is not a good thing on my part. But I will say, yes, you definitely have to get your head wrapped around this before you do it. If you're going to do it, you have to be okay with it. And I think for me, and I think Robin can speak to what helps her with it, but for me, knowing so many other families who have children who are donor conceived makes it normal now to me. So it doesn't feel doesn't feel strange or weird or different, although it is different. It is. But in our little community, that there are so many of us, it's a normal thing. And there are hundreds, thousands of kids who are growing up with this same identity, I suppose, and are being taught this. Taught this from the beginning, from the day they're born. They know the story. It is told with love, and it is told with openness and honesty. And those, and I go forward with the belief that my kids and all these kids are going to be okay, but you don't know. You really don't. But having the community helps. And I don't know if Robin, you have something.
Yeah, I was going to say, and also on top of that, you guys, because I felt similarly, I remember like just being like, this is just another thing. Our kids are going to be different. The two moms, I remember having all those same thoughts, but some of it is you're in theory right now. There is no baby. Once you have a kid, I swear to God, all of that goes away, because then you have a baby and you have a kid and you have a person, and then you want them to be the best person they can be, and you want to be the best parent you can be, and you want to fix the mistakes you make, and then your focus and your shift becomes about the kids. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, my kid is going to have X number of like siblings. Like I think Maxine might have somewhere, Henry might have close to 20 siblings, donor siblings. And so I was like, what do? We created a Facebook group, and now there's some contact and they know each other and it's part of their lives, and it's just this little thing. And then, it's like, so
something
you just
special.
Yeah. And we address it in our everyday lives. So it now is just part of our family's origin story.
Yeah.
So it comes out of this theory into reality. And then anything that's a little weird, you address with the kids, and anything that's not, just, it no longer is weird because it is your family.
Right.
But
in order to get there, you have to get there personally. You need to find the place in yourself that helps you feel like this is normal and okay.
Yeah.
And
this is the part that stinks about for us as making our families, is we can't do it on our own. Like, and I've raged about that. It makes me so angry that I have to depend on someone else to make my family, not just me and Mary. And that's hard. But like Jamie said, you got to get over it in your own way and get to what's right for you.
It is tough though. It is.
Yeah, no, I love, you guys have both said that before, that like moment you become a mom, you're like loud and proud, like we are proud of our family and proud of who we are, and I love that. And definitely.
and then your 6-year-old starts saying she wishes she had a dad, and then you handle that
to the taxi driver, right? Wasn't it something like that?
Well, that happened to both of us at some point. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, and every single situation is different too. Every single child. Every kid, every single child has a different experience with this. And some kids are like, well, I don't care. That's fine. This is my mom's. And some kids, like my daughter, have just recently told us she gets embarrassed to tell people she has 2 moms. So,
and my kids are totally different. 2 different kids. Maxine is all kinds of like, she has like the kids Facebook Messenger app, because it's really monitored and stuff. And a bunch of the donor kids are on there, and she talks to them, and he wants nothing to do with it. It's like, it's like a really big part for her, and it's nothing for him. And so we respect each kid and what they want. So if we always say, if he wants to talk about it, we can, but he doesn't want to. So, but then we still put certain things in place, like Camp Highlight and things like that, so that there are other kids around them that are like them to help.
I don't know. Do you know about that? No. I don't know that Sarah has heard about Camp Highlight, if you want to tell her about that.
Yeah. So it's a camp it's actually in New Jersey. They do it in New Jersey, but it's once a week a year. It's a sleepaway camp, and it's all kids from LGBTQ families. And Maxine started going when she was 8, and Henry started at 8 too. They missed this past summer, obviously, but it's all kids. It's incredible. And it's such a great opportunity for them to have a place to meet other kids like them without us there. And they facilitate discussion and around what their families are like.
Over that difference becomes all of their sameness, I guess. My kids are going to go when they're old enough. Can't wait.
Sarah's
Can't
a big,
wait to send them.
Yeah. Sarah went to camp like all summer long when she was a kid. So I think that'll be
so jealous. I would have loved that.
Yeah. That's, it's tough. It is tough, but you make it work in your family, and you surround yourself with affirming people in your life.
Yeah.
That affirm your lifestyle and love you for it. And that's the best you can do. So we gotta find you a gay bar.
I know. I think we should put that in the spreadsheet. Find gay friends.
If there are any lesbian bars left, for God's sakes, there's like one in the country.
I mean, you could even find some boys, some gay boys. They're affirming.
Yeah, that's true. One of my cousins.
They'll
we have him. We like never even went to gay bars because we didn't date other people. It was so bad, guys.
I had that. My first relationship too with my ex. She was my first relationship. We met on the road in a show, and we didn't have any lesbian friends. I didn't have up till my 30s when we broke up when we turned 30, but I didn't have lesbian friends at all. And then I met them after. But
see, I couldn't get a date, so I had all lesbian friends, and then I'm like, I'm single, and like nothing was happening. So I was in the bars, like, now I'm drunk, and then I'm going home. That was
But
That was kind of funny.
I missed out on that whole going to gay bar.
Crying yourself to sleep alone, Jamie? Yes, you
Cruising.
did. You did miss that.
It's true. It's
Oh
true.
my gosh.
Yeah. No, now we have a puppy, so I think we can make some friends. I think
Yes.
that's our
Yeah.
in.
Oh yeah. Lesbians always have dogs. Just go.
You need some
you
kind
know
of like
how we-
meetup stuff, like some LGBTQ meetups.
Yeah,
Like
there
you need
must
to
be
do some potlucks. You
with
need
your
some gays in
dogs.
your life.
With the dogs.
I know.
You know
Yes.
how when you get a dog, you walk your dog. All of a sudden, people that you would have never talked to, you're talking to because you
Yeah.
bond over the dog. It's so.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I mean, that's half the
friends in
reason.
my neighborhood because of my dog.
That's awesome. Yeah, because we travel so much, like it's hard to meet people, especially
Yeah.
this year. It was really hard.
Yeah.
So when you have a dog, it's like, oh, how old's your dog? I'm like, oh, thanks for asking. Let me tell you everything you didn't want to know.
Everything you didn't ask. Well, I mean,
Exactly.
I love this for you guys. I feel like you have a plan. I love that you're being so intentional about this, that you're already looking at jobs that are going to give you insurance, that's going to help you start this
Amazing.
path. So I can't wait to hear how this all goes for you all.
And
Oh.
also, there's no rush. You have some time.
Did you hear? Did you hear
That
it?
was the top of the episode.
you hear
missed
it?
Jamie?
Because
Listen.
honestly, when the child comes,
Oh God.
I feel like Claire Huxtable. When the child comes,
When the child comes.
yeah, like you
Oh
remember,
my
she
gosh.
got that voice.
Yes.
When the child comes, your fun is done.
I'll tell you what's done. Brunch is done. Brunch.
Oh my God,
I miss
Robin,
brunch.
this weekend, you guys, this
Anything else?
weekend on Sunday, I
Did
saw
you
these
brunch?
people brunching. No, I was alone with my kids, and I was so angry. I almost put up a post on the social. All you friends, all you people out there brunching, think about your friends with kids. They're in need right now.
I'm so glad you didn't put that post up.
Stop myself.
I'm
They
glad.
help.
Oh.
Offer to watch one of your friends'
Oh my
kids.
gosh.
I almost put that up.
Oh, I'm glad that you didn't put that up. I am.
Anyway, it's not about us. It's not about us.
Yeah. And it also, I think with kids for us too, it's interesting because it will bring about a lot of other life changes as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not as if we right now are living in a house with careers and we're
Yeah,
just gonna,
that's the Swiffer in the room
planning.
that we haven't talked about.
Add-
Like, are you going to continue trying to live in a van while you get pregnant?
Why not?
I think that we could. Also though, like our van is definitely not conducive to an infant. We have 2 seats. We cannot have a car seat and an infant in there right now. So I think if we are not done kind of living on the road and traveling, we would have to get a different vehicle. Maybe like more of an RV instead of a van, or just get a new van, because our van, like the layout of our van right now, I don't think would really even work for like adding a
It's
seat.
like 40 square feet, so it doesn't work for very much. There's not very many options.
It's small. It's cozy.
It's
Yeah.
really cozy.
So
But I do think you could do that with an infant. I mean, if you have the right vehicle. You
Definitely.
have to
And
get
they're
pregnant.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes. And there are people that have young kids and live on the road like this in the same kind of van that we do. And I think that's amazing, because I think that those kids are probably living
They're going to be awesome.
a great life, and they're going to be wonderful little kids. So it's just a matter of what we want kind of life to look like then as well. And if we either get a new vehicle or if we
Get a yurt.
buy
I know.
That stays in one place.
I want to
Yeah.
buy a piece of land and like put a little cabin on it.
Yeah, Jess is interested in having some land, and we can always like live in the van just like stationary and like have a second vehicle then.
Tiny
type of
house
deal.
nation.
So yeah.
Hmm.
But it's it's just it's kind of feeling, I mean, it's obviously it's a big thing to like have kids regardless. It upends your life completely. I don't want to like say that it doesn't. But also, yeah, we just have other changes as well going on in order to make that happen. So it is
It's
definitely
a total life
bit
change.
of a, yeah, it's going to be different. Things will look different.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
it's a life change no matter what. So,
Yeah.
and you two seem adaptable. Like you make changes, you look and see what's working, what's not, and you make changes. So you'll do that.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and you have time. You don't have to rush it. You have time, but also, and this is the advice my mom gave me when we were going waffling back and forth, are we going to do it, are we going to do it? You're never ready.
Mm-mm.
It's never
Yeah.
the right time.
Nope.
Agree.
So
You just kind
That's
of
what
have
we
to
said
jump
about
off the
getting a
cliff.
puppy too.
Yeah.
you have time, but it's never the right time. So somewhere in
Yeah.
there you're going to find your path, and it'll happen, and when it does, it's beautiful, whatever way it pans out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
also,
I-
we would like to swing by and get some discounts on frappuccinos. FYI.
Anytime, come by. I don't know where that will be.
You don't know which
Maybe
one
we
you're
can
at.
open about a mobile from our van.
You know what you should do? You should go to Bend, open a Starbucks franchise in Bend. Although I don't know if you want to put a Starbucks at Bend.
And
Maybe
I
you
think
have to
I don't
end
know
up
that
in
would do
Bend.
well.
I feel like it has to be local. It has to be like Bend Coffee. Like if you're not getting Starbucks there.
Bend coffee and
Yeah.
beer. Bend coffee, pastries, beer and wine. I mean, that sounds and live music. I have it for you. It's done. It is done.
And also, it's an
I'll write that down.
company that runs out of the back, so that you can have access to their insurance plan.
That's what I was gonna say. We can't start our own business. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
That's
We
where
need
we're
someone else to.
Get on the freelancers union.
I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are just showing how much thought goes into our family planning process. Also, how much thought goes into getting married.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all of it wrapped up in one. It's a lot.
Coming
it's
out.
a lot of thought. Coming out.
Yeah.
That's a whole journey in and of itself. That's still like, I don't know if you guys, I wasn't done coming out by the time I was 30. It took me some more
Yeah,
time
I
after
mean,
that.
I think it'll be easier / harder when we have kids. We'll see.
Easier.
It'll be out of your
Yeah.
it'll be out of your hands, is what it will be.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and you're all just this is all like it's Jamie. It's like a flashback for me of a time that we forget about. Like we're so like I tend anyway. I don't want to speak for Jamie sometimes to minimize all of this because I'm like, oh, it's just once you get the baby, that's like the real work or whatever. And I think that's not fair. I think you guys are really just reminding me of that journey, and it's a lot, and you got to go through it, and you have to just take one step at a time, and and you will get through it, but we forget sometimes because we got the babies already,
Right. Yeah, it's true. We're so caught up in our own worlds, we forget what we went through.
We're
and that will happen
selfish.
to you too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you are in
Oh
it
my
right
gosh.
now, and take your time through it. Take your time.
Can I tell you one other thing I'm thinking about
Yes.
already?
Please.
So listening to your audiobook, loved it again. I'll say that. I
Thank you.
had a ton of work in November and I just listened to it straight.
Oh.
And talking about second parent adoption, oh my gosh, ladies, I was so fired up. I'm like about to write to everybody because obviously I will adopt our child if Sarah has them,
course,
but
yeah. Yeah.
also I don't want to adopt my own child.
Yeah.
And I
Isn't it
feel a
crazy?
real strong way about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I get it.
Yeah.
I have so many some type of way feelings still
Yeah.
going on because obviously I'm still in
Yeah.
the process.
I know.
Well, you just reminded me. I have to reach out to my lawyer and social worker today to ask what is going on because we put our paperwork in 6 weeks ago and I haven't heard a word. So
You're just waiting on a court date, right?
Yeah, but the court date was in the process 2 months ago.
Mm.
But I guess it could take that long. Who knows? I don't know.
But
know.
yeah,
Can we
it's
just
like-
not gloss over the fact that you have to have a court date?
Well,
I
the
know.
good news about COVID times is I don't think we have to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And but the thing is like I still stand by it's never been more important than it is today because of what's happening in the Supreme Court. It just
Yes,
like
no,
they're
I
already going to
completely
start trying to tear down marriage equality. And when I was doing second parent adoption with Maxine, there was only 17 states where you could do second parent adoption and you had to live in that state. And I remember giving advice to somebody who lived in Florida and she had to like establish residency in Connecticut because she couldn't do it. With marriage equality, it expanded second parent adoption to every state. And if marriage equality gets like chipped away at, that like second parent adoption will be more, you'll have to move your little Swiffer van to a state where it's legal,
Which
and
is
I don't
good,
want
you're
that to,
mobile.
but I don't want that to happen. But
Oh my gosh.
but
Um,
What is the alternative here? Like, I want to know how to solve the problem. What what would solve the problem? Like if the birth certificate like gave legal guardianship over children, like is that what needs to happen?
But it has never done that in the
Yeah.
history of birth certificates.
I know, but is that what I need to write in my letters? Is that
Maybe.
In your angry letters to the man.
Jess doesn't get mad. Jess does not get mad. This morning she was talking to me about it and I was like, what is happening?
Fired up. She is fired up.
I'm so mad. I don't even have a baby. And I'm like, I'm not doing this, but
Because it's
also of
not
course
fair.
I'm doing this.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
funny because, you know, when single mom, when moms have a baby, the straight people, when straight couples have a baby and the dad is not necessarily,
Bless you.
bless you, when straight couples have a baby and the dad is not necessarily 100% on board, there's always that question, am I, you know, you hear that, I see it on TV all the time, am I going to put him on the birth certificate or am I not? Because
That's if that matters.
everybody assumes that if you put the person on the birth certificate, they have legal rights and they have legal responsibilities, and it's not the case. However, it is kind of practiced in that way across the board, like umbrella. It is like, if the man is on the birth certificate, the mother can go to the court for what's the word?
You just say
Child support.
Child support. So it's gray. It's weird. And but when it comes to our LGBTQ families, no, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Weird or discriminatory?
Both.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. So there needs to be some kind of solution, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well,
equality.
we don't have a kid yet. So.
Yeah, equality would
Get
be
that kid.
good.
Get that kid.
Well, no, I have to write the letters before we get the kid because
well,
obviously I'm going to do it, but I don't want to do it. So I have to
be
work
like
on
Robin and have it buttoned up before the kid.
Yeah.
Don't be like me.
I had all the paperwork done so that all we had to do is get the birth certificate, and then we submitted it like a week after the kid was born. So
Nice. I didn't know you could do that.
You can do that. You can do all the work ahead of time,
including the social visit, everything. So if you can do it all ahead of time, then it's just because once you have that baby, you just don't want to be doing this. And then it's like 2 years later, like Jamie.
Yeah.
Like you gotta do it.
Years.
Yeah. Or I was trying to be nice, or 7.
You were trying to be nice. 7.
But it's like,
so again, will that prove
done ahead of time, and it's a packet. It's just you got to get everything done, and then it's just submitting. It's so much easier.
What do you think the social worker will say about our van? Good or no?
Maybe you're gonna want to like post up at your parents' house for that.
That's actually why we're having a baby of our own and not adopting.
Straight couples can have a baby in a van and nobody
sure can.
That's
gives
exactly.
two shits
That's
about it.
another annoying thing. Somebody's gonna come in and tell you that you don't have a suitable home for this child, which is not true at all.
And by the way, I want film of you angrily yelling at them from and slamming the Swiffer door in the social worker's face. This is my house. I want all of that. And then you peeling out like.
Yeah, I mean, we go like 5 miles an hour, so that'll be hilarious.
Like with the hazard lights on, like. Oh, I can just see it. It's a digital video short already. I love it.
That should be in a movie.
That's like the Heat when Melissa, what's her last name? Help me. McCarthy had the slowest like chase ever. I guess again the opening scene, she like throwing a watermelon. I nearly peed myself. That was so funny. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. This was so wonderful.
Yes. I really think people are going to get a lot out of this. Just the ins and outs of what we'd have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of first steps. And like I said, I listened to every episode of your podcast trying to take all the notes. So I hope it is helpful for somebody.
Yeah, definitely going to be. Definitely going to be. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Really nice to see you guys.
You too. You're staying here. We're just going to.
Yeah, don't leave us.